Hello again and welcome to Virtual Crafts. In this video we'll see how we can add new users in Linux. As you may already know that Linux is a multi-user system, which means that more than one person can interact with the same system simultaneously. If multiple people use one system, it is best to create a user account for each person to ensure their security and privacy. Now there are two types of users in Linux. One is the super user or administrator and the other is general users. Now only administrator can add new general users. So if you are logged in as a general user, you'll first have to switch to the root user using the command su to switch to the super user, or you can use sudo with your command to act as a super user. I'm already logged in as the root user, so I will just move on. So to add a user, we have to specify certain things: username, user ID, user group. User group and user ID are not mandatory, but if you want to add a user with a specific user ID and a specific group, then you have to mention it. To simply add a user, you have to write the command useradd and then the name of the user that you want to add. In my case, let's say I want to add a user called James. If I run this command, a user called James will be added. If I press enter, James has now been added to the users list, and to verify I can use the command ID and name of the user, which is James. And you can see that the user ID assigned to James was 1002. So this ID was automatically assigned to James. Now what if I don't want this ID to be automatically assigned to the user and I want to create the user with a specific ID? To do that, you have to use the command useradd and then the flag -u. Here you'll have to type an integer number for the user ID. Let's say I type 200 and then the name of the user, let's say Jimmy this time. Now the user Jimmy will be created with a user ID of 200. I'm not creating this user straight away. Let's say we want to assign this user to a specific group too, so we will have to add another flag here, which is -g for group, and here you'll write the name of the group that you want to add the user to. So a group that already exists by default is the users group. If you want to create a specific group, then you can do that too and then specify it here to add Jimmy to that particular group. Currently, I am adding Jimmy to users group with a user ID of 200. And if I press enter, this user has been added. And to verify, I can use the command ID Jimmy. Okay, that is spelling mistake. ID Jimmy. And you can see that Jimmy has been created with the user ID of 200 and the group is users. So this is how you can add a user with a user ID in a group. But if you notice, the first user we added, we did not assign any group to that user, nor did we assign a user ID to that. So how we can change the user ID after a user has been created? For that, we can use the command usermod to manage a user. Then we use the -u flag again for the user ID. Let's say I want to give James an ID of 1500, and then I will write the name of the user that I am managing here. So usermod -u, the ID and the username. If I press enter, the user ID of James has been changed. To verify, I can use the command ID again, and you can see that the ID has now been changed from 1002 to 1500. Similarly, to change the group of the user, we have another command. Currently, you can see that the group for the user James is James itself. So to change the group, I will again use the command usermod, and this time I will use the flag -g, and I will add James to the users group, and then the username. And now if I look at James, you can see that the users group has been assigned to James. And now finally, for this user to be able to log in as the newly created user, we have to set a password for this user. And we can do that using the command passwd and then the name of the user, which is, let's say, James. Here we'll add the password for James. I'll have to retype the password for confirmation. And after confirming the password, you will get this message that all authentication tokens have been updated successfully. So now you have successfully added a user with a user ID, a user group, username, and a password. If you have any questions, you can leave a message in the comments down below. If you've liked the video, please consider subscribing and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. Thank you and see you in the next video.